Well, it's Monday, and that can only mean one thing. For the final time this year, we're going to say we're talking Laurels. And of course, the Irish Laurels came to a thrilling conclusion at Curraheen Park on Saturday night. And two men that were lucky enough to be on site are here with me today. The 𝗹𝘂𝗶𝗶𝗹, Tommy Lyons, joins me, as does the Drakester, y'all's leading fan, Barry Drake. A great night's racing, gentlemen, and a good winner to Runninta Seeya. It really was a thrilling final, Tommy.
Oh, it was. You know what the funny thing about it is, if you look back at it, Ian, it was actually predictable, almost exactly how it happened. But the result itself was fantastic. Maybe not for me for tipping. I thought that maybe Glass off Fire had the advantage of the draw and might just be enough. But it was a great result in the circumstances, considering all that's happened this year. It was difficult enough to get the competition going and to get it to a conclusion. You know, we've had all the doubts about whether we'd be racing even, and then you know, not to have a crowd there, but then passing of Bart Leahy, you know, such a poignant success for Johnny Linehan, a great friend of Bart is a great friend of Johnny's, worked with him for years. A crying shame that there wasn't that atmosphere there, you know, that there wasn't a big crowd there, but there's nothing we can do about it. As Johnny says, I'll take the success, and he said, you know, Bart is definitely looking down. He said he was probably out there walking one of the dogs.
Yeah, I believe Bart's father was actually presented one of the trophies, Barry.
Yeah, that's right. Liam was presented with one of the trophies after the race. Johnny kindly brought him in for that presentation, so I'm sure it's a very special moment. But yeah, it was an amazing final, wasn't it, Ian? Like, when Runninta Seeya led around the first bend and there was no sign of Brody's magic, it looked all over. And then when Brody's got to the front, you were like, what's going to pick these two up? You know, it was a dramatic final, but you know, I thought it was another outstanding event this year.
Now, Barry, you're allowed to wear your Cork jersey here, a Cork winner as well, which always is sweet for a Cork man down in the Laurels.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet now, Ian, to be honest with you. I was hoping Johnny would do it. He's been such a great trainer over the years. It's a long time now since he won the Oaks, 2011 with 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗴𝗃𝗔. So you could say this was a long time coming. First time in a final. Local Cork trainer. Always has a very big following. He's such a nice man, and you know, yeah, I think it meant a lot on Saturday night, and it was a dream result for me anyway.
Yeah, a lovely fella, Johnny. Very affable, really a good character, you know, always chuckling along and telling a joke, and he's not afraid to slag anyone either. But he also has a very good dog, Tommy. Runninta Seeya is a dog that's been lightly raced, and there's definitely, you know, more to this dog in the future, no doubt.
Yeah, he's got good early pace. He just does that little, he has that little bit of kink at the first bend where he tends to step out and go middle. I had a slight concern about Trap 2 the other night, that in so far as he tends to break best, and I don't think he actually flashed out the other night. He tends to break best from Trap 1, but then run a middle course. Probably saved him that he broke well from two, and that he didn't step out wildly, you know. But he's a good dog. I mean, he's doing good times, and you know, I questioned last week that we hadn't seen him come from behind. I suspected that what would happen was Brody's magic would show the pace at some stage to get to the front in the race, and then the effort of getting there would take his toll, or might take his toll eventually. Brody's magic ran an absolutely phenomenal race. I mean, he was last early, and the pace he showed up and around, and the way he tracked the first two bends, even considering that the Runninta Seeya kind of stepped a bit wide on the bend as usual, he tracked, you know, he kept the wide course, never touched anything, showed huge pace down the back, and as Barry said, then I thought it was going to hand it to Blast Off Fire, that all of a sudden Runninta Seeya had to come by Brody's magic again. It made for an absolutely fabulous finish to the race. I don't think there's any doubt. Maybe I was at a good angle. I didn't have any doubt that Runninta Seeya had won the race, and just a great result, to be honest.
Yeah, Barry, from your angle, it looked like Runninta Seeya had won it.
Yeah, myself and Tommy were in close enough to the same position, so we had the bird's eye view of it. And yeah, I was pretty sure Runninta Seeya had won, but bit relieved too to see two flash up on the outside screen there. So even though there was a very, very small crowd there, there was plenty of excitement when the result was called.
Indeed, just point out, like, it was a short head, a neck, a length and a half, and a length. Yeah. So we're talking around 4 lengths from first to last. You know, last year we all hailed as perhaps one of the closest finals of all time. Was a short head ahead, 3 parts, a length and a half, and 2 lengths. That's 4.5 lengths from start to finish. Yeah. So it was remarkable to think that we had a tighter finish nearly than last year. And the way it happened, the way it came about with Brody's magic, like as Tommy alluded to there, it was just astonishing the pace he showed. Like we sort of all could see it happening that he'd show the pace to get there, but we thought he'd be 2 lengths closer than he was. You know, it wasn't like what he showed down the back straight, and as you say, the way he went around the opening 2 bends was just really unbelievably eye-catching. Blast Off Fire had his chance in the fence there. He's only beaten a short head. I must say I was surprised when I saw a short head because, okay, granted, I'm only watching from the stream in the commentary box in Shelbourne Park, but to me, I thought he was comfortably up. And it just goes to show the angle in 𝗁𝗏 can be a bit deceptive.
Well, I tell you, it's funny, Barry, Ian, because I thought that Barry and I thought that it was a certainty. Straight away, we said, yeah, Runninta Seeya, no question, no doubt. And I was the same as you. I thought it. But last year, I thought I had no idea what it won, but I was standing in a different position. It's amazing considering where you were. I hadn't a clue what it won. We were hoping that Kieran Lynch's dog had got back up. Do you know what? If you look through the 6 dogs in the final on Saturday night, there's not one of them you could say didn't run the race. Every single one of them, which is Ethiopia, broke really well, and just got a little bit outpaced into the bend and stayed on strongly again. 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗴𝗶 did what he was always going to do, going to be staying on strongly. And Ballymacantone finished last. You say he beat in less than 4 lengths, and he missed it completely. And he had probably the worst of the draw where he was. With Runninta Seeya, and the fact that the top dog was even drawing trap 1, it might be a renowned early pacer, but the one that trap 1 is such a help that you're going to get that little, maybe an extra length out of it at the start, and that's enough to hold up other dogs getting that position on you. So I think like every single one of them ran a good race, and whether you were first or last, I mean, you say there was just a spot less than 4 lengths from top to tail. Like it's about, you know. Obviously, it's a pity that there wasn't a crowd there, but it's about as exciting a finish to a classic that you can possibly get.
Yeah, I was going to say, if a dog had popped out and won 5 lengths from the front dominant, it probably would have been a boring enough decider given the conditions, given the fact that there was no one on the stands, there was no noise, there was no bedlam. But as it was, Barry, it was probably an ideal situation for the Laurels itself to have such a tense final. And in the end, a Cork winner was an important thing. But also, we have to mention the Runninta Seeya syndicate from RD. Like, these are pure Greyhound men. Like, you heard Mickey Rooney in the Derby lunch, and like, he was absolutely buzzing for this. Like, he's been in Greyhound racing a long time, and I'm sure he got some thrill out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Great Greyhound people. So I'm sure the celebrations went long into the night in RD there on Saturday night, you know. And look, you can't beat breeding either. The winner, of course, the son of 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗴, she lit up many a track over the last number of years. Shelbourne Park, she posted some phenomenal times as well down in Youghal. We have to give Youghal a mention, you know that. But yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, and funny enough, it was Mickey Rooney who mentioned it last week that 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗴 had actually finished behind 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗶 Bell in the Oaks Decider. You know, back in is it 2016 at this stage?
That's right, yeah, 2016. Seems like longer. There's so many great races coming along. You know, every year. You know, but the Tummies would have got a great thrill out of 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗴 as well, getting to the final. So look, I think it had it all, and a deserving winner. He was quickest in the semi-final, so it was no surprise to see him get the job done. But I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about a couple of dogs in behind, most notably Brody's Magic. I think we could see him dip under 28 seconds if he's going to be campaigned over 525 going forward. I think it was a remarkable performance from him in defeat, and we had a quick word with his trainer David Murray after, and he was very gracious in defeat. So I'd wish him luck going forward as well.
Yeah, if he can ever just get his trapping more consistent, like this dog has the gears to do anything over 525 yards. I don't think they're going to step him up to 750 anytime soon, Tommy.
I think that's safe enough, Ian. Yeah, what happened, and the result is the result, and as we said, it's a good one. It's a really good one for the Laurels. But you know, that or Brody's Magic flying out and doing 27.80 is what we wanted. Like something, you know, a little bit, either a special performance like that or the result that we got. It was one or the other we wanted. Because there's no rocket science in saying that Brody's Magic is capable of breaking 28 seconds. He'd smash through it if he could just do things right. If he could just get it right at the start. He had 2 opportunities, unfortunately, in the quarterfinal and semi-final. And as I said, it put me off him for the final, but I'm not surprised at what he produced in the final, even from trap 6. How he managed to have a heavy bumper on the other Greyhound it just goes to show that he was absolutely primed for the night. I mean, I know he's beaten, what has he beaten? A short head in the neck in 28.38, so he's just on 28.42 maybe. It's still a phenomenal run, isn't it, from trap 6 for an inside?
Yeah, he's have to make it up 5 grounds in running, like, so it's the guts of a 28-second run again.
Yeah, exactly. He's a terrific dog. I don't know what he goes and wins, to be honest about it. You know what I mean? I don't know what he wins from here. But I hope he does get his day in the sunlight, that he gets some big classic, maybe a bit of sprint next year. I don't know, but like he might be a bit old at that stage. But God, he's a phenomenally fast dog.
Yeah, they always have the sprinting route to go down with him, because, like, as we've seen, like, he has the 2073 around Dundalk. Like, that's absolutely incredible running. And they do have the sprinting route, and there's nothing strange in a sprinter being 4 years of age, and a top class sprinter at that. When you're a good sprinter, you're a good sprinter. Doesn't really, age isn't quite so much the matter. The big problem is that opening 5 strides, isn't it?
Yeah, like I say, I suppose it was exaggerated a little bit. He had an early race in the first round, and he broke fairly well from trap 1, and he did a 28:12. I think he was the fastest of the round. He missed it in the quarterfinal and semi-final trap 1. He actually came out almost heading straight for the rails. I mean, the first stride, not even the second stride, the first stride, he was headed straight into the rails, and just that the loss of momentum coming out sideways. I mean, I kind of waxed lyrical about it when he won his quarterfinal. The pace he showed up along the inside after missing, and the bravery he showed. Like, he's a proper greyhound. You just wish for connections and for the greyhound himself that he just do it right some night in the final. Like, he was beaten in the final of the sprint this year. He slightly missed it again in the final. He was drawn middle, and he slightly missed it again. As I say, I'd celebrate tonight that he gets some big win, because I love seeing greyhounds like him. Absolutely love it. And it's not. I know you have a kind of a penchant for greyhounds that kind of stay. You always look for that type of greyhound. But
always.
I love that. I love that fucking explosiveness the likes of the Brody's Magic has. It's a raw talent. You're going to get beaten a lot of nights when things don't go right for you, but by God, he's good to watch.
Yeah, he surely is that. Getting back to Runninta Seeya, Barry, where to now? Like, he's only had the 14 starts. Like, he's still relatively young. Like, he's in April 18, but given the year that's been in it, he's missed 3-4 months. So will he rock up to the ledger, do you think?
I'd say that would come a bit too soon. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure on that. I haven't got confirmation from Johnny or the owners or anything like that. But I think that would be a tough ask. I could see him having maybe a little break now, but it'll be a big step up from now. Next, he'll probably head to Shelbourne Park, I would imagine. And I think it'll be a big step up. If I was to take one dog out of the competition, that's no disrespect to the winner, it would be Brody's Magic. I think you could take him anywhere, and he would, if he does his running, he could compete against the very best over 525s here in Ireland.
Yeah, an enjoyable competition from start to finish, lads. The empty stands, it takes a while to get used to it, especially during the likes of the biggest competition in the southern calendar in Cork. How did you find it?
Bit bizarre, to be honest about it at times. It's you're kind of running through, no bookmakers there for the last couple of rounds. You're kind of running through some of the early races, going, we can move along now and get to the high class stuff. Like, it's just weird. No celebration when a dog does a big clock. It's kind of people just looking around each other. It's a strange situation. Now, it's fabulous that we're still going, and by God, if the horse racing and greyhound racing stopped, I think would be. The severity of the lockdown will hit us all again. The fact that we can keep going at all is brilliant. And you know what? The funny thing is, an awful lot of people have been on to me saying how much they love this, the Talking Laurels or the Talking Derby, and the podcast that Barry's been doing. Any of the stuff that's been the multimedia kind of the side of things, the amount of stuff that's been done behind the scenes just to kind of promote the sport. I don't think it's ever been as accessible. I know, unfortunately, I say that in a time when the site went down just as the Laurels final was about to start. That was unfortunate. These things will happen. But I think that also probably shows the fact that there was probably a lot of people trying to get on, trying to access it and trying to watch it. It's kind of it's a good sign in some way. I think that people have caught into this idea that you can get on and you can watch a bit of chat about greyhound racing, which we haven't had for a while. Remember the program on television, you were part of it. That was huge. That was huge for people at one time. Like, you know what I mean? So this is the modern day equivalent of that.
Yeah, very much so. And it's brought a different aspect to it all, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Barry, I'm sure the 5 weeks of the Laurels, I'd say you skipped out the door on the way to the track. It's one of those. It's great to get to the track, and we are lucky now that we were able to attend. Is that the way you found it?
Definitely. And there's nothing like going greyhound racing despite in these challenging times and not having as many people as you would like there. But it's such a huge relief just to head along to the track and have a chat with people. And I'm sure people all over the country that are running dogs, racing dogs, when they head off to the track, it just takes them away from this whole kind of COVID situation in terms of, you know, thinking about it non-stop. And in fairness, the tracks are run so professionally. Everyone's keeping their distance. They're washing their hands. But I think it's just a breath of fresh air to head along. And mentally, I think it's just keeping people going.
Yeah, there was some top-class racing apart from the Laurels final at Cork on Saturday night. Some good displays, Barry.
Yeah, there sure was. It was great to see 𝘁𝗹𝗂𝗿𝗲𝗹 back in action in Cork Park. He's been a remarkable greyhound over the last couple of years for the 𝗹𝘂𝗿𝗀. And when he was handed the Trap 1 draw on Saturday night, he really did look at a penalty kick, and he justified what would have been, I'm sure, short price favouritism in that race. He had to, you know, kind of work hard enough. The chasing pack were closing him down late on, but I'm sure that sign of age may be creeping up on him. But it was fantastic to see him win, and Patrick Norris had a lovely winner as well. 𝗁𝗂𝗶𝗴 getting the job done there.
I look forward to commentating on that one in Dublin.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, lads. Whoever named them.
That was the Jerry Henry Oriel race. That was a great competition, and I think that winning greyhound was a daughter of Tibet. Did she get to the final of the Oaks?
She did. She was a very talented lady. Yeah, she certainly got the Puppy Oaks final, I think. Talented lady. Tommy, you had a good night, obviously.
Yeah, I did, yeah. And as Barry said, there was good racing. 𝗁𝗂𝗶𝗴 was one of the dogs that the people latched onto. When we had bookmakers in the track standing in the early rounds, there was plenty of money for 𝗁𝗂𝗶𝗴. Unfortunately, they weren't able to stand the other night, but he won very impressively, I thought. It looked a good opportunity, to be honest about it. That Jerry Henry is you know, as Barry said, it's always a good competition. I thought the dog that finished third, Karen Derrick, William Kelleher's dog, showed tremendous pace. I'm not certain that he's an outside or a middle seed, even. I'd say he's probably an inside seed. Maybe lacked that tiny touch of early pace, but by God, he showed a lot of pace again. He wasn't entitled to finish as close as he did. He's beaten 3 lengths in the neck. I don't want to mention the wild word because that's Barry's job, but he might have a link to a seaside town not too far from where I am right now. A dog worth looking out for now. A dog worth. In fact, I would say that people should reference that race, that final itself. You know, for the future, you'll see some good dogs coming out of it.
There have been some good dogs emerge from that competition over the years.
Johnny Linehan's had a bitch that I think did 28-12, if I remember rightly. Did she bury the 28-12 in the final that a few years ago? Yeah, or maybe in the first round even. It has been a good stake all along, Ian, to be honest.
Yeah, 𝗁𝗂𝗶𝗴𝗶. Yeah, that should be good.
Yeah.
Puts his left foot in, his left foot out. Jimmy, Barry Murphy and the boys, Tony Winters and the lads, they've done great work to get this sponsorship on pub running. They've been really rewarded the first 2 years, 2 unbelievable finals. If the next 2 are anything like this, they'll have done some job.
Well, as Barry and I said, while coming home from the Laurels the other night, we can probably let the dog win from some other county next year, maybe. You know? Yeah. But it's what Jimmy said last week when he was on here, that he said that it doesn't matter whether it's a Cork Greyhound, really and truly. You know what I mean? You want top class competition down here. I hope the dog goes down next year and wins it, whether he's from Cork or wherever he's from, is an absolutely exceptional Greyhound. That's all we want. It's really good quality racing. We've had it. I would have said, Ian, before the start of the competition, when I looked at the lineup, I would have thought, this is only okay. But you know what? It seemed to develop as a really good stake. You know, it just the right greyhounds were getting through, and then they were meeting each other. There were good clashes every week, and there was a great final. I mean, we all had an angle on how we thought the final would go, and we were all kind of keen to take on the favourite to some degree. And I think that's always kind of makes it a bit more exciting when you're looking for different angles. So, as I said, I would have thought at the start, it's not brilliant, but it developed. Thankfully, it developed into great. And I tell you, Jimmy Barry Murphy, you can see him beaming after the final the other night. Not of course, he's friendly with Johnny Lynn, and he's had dogs with him, I think, in the past. And you know, he was proud, not just for Johnny winning the competition, but just for the way the competition had gone. Himself and Damien and Tony Winters, and they were there. And you know, a huge amount of work has gone into it. There might even be an announcement maybe later in the week about the Laurels again. So it's what they've done for it, and to secure for at least 2 more years is I mean, what it tells you about you know, the support that somebody like Jimmy involved in the game can do. And he is passionate. Talk to him about it. He nearly gets on his toes when you start talking to him about greyhound racing. He just kind of gets high nearly. He's hyper about it. Just loves the sport. If you're ever feeling a bit down about the sport, just have a chat with Jimmy.
Yeah, truly enthusiast. Barry, of course, Tommy was born and reared in the mean streets of 𝗹𝗂𝗶𝗴 in Dublin, so like it's not really in his blood as much as, let's say, the Derby would be. But the Laurels for you, like this is the competition. It's what gets you going. It's what people in Cork want to see. It's the Laurels. It's the one sort of event every year where it's just drop everything. It's Laurels time.
That's it. Standout event of the year. Always a great build up to the competition. As Tommy pointed out there, look, there's been some fantastic coverage of the event over the last 5 weeks. I have people that have been tuning into the event that wouldn't even be greyhound people, but you know, they've really enjoyed it. So look, it's been another amazing event. He touched on the Cork dominance there over the last 3 years. I got it from one of the leading trainers in the country, Mr. 𝗶𝗂𝗶𝗀𝗶, said that he'll have to put an end to that dominance next year. But I thought it was a classy touch from him as well to send a message and say that he was delighted for Johnny Linehan and that one of the good guys had got the job done on Saturday night. So I thought that was a classy touch as well from one of Ireland's leading trainers over the last number of years.
Yeah, certainly a classy touch, but it's what you'd come to expect, of course, from Paul. Yeah. Of course, being a Kilkenny man, he's like they've had some great battles with Cork over the years, but it makes little difference in greyhound racing. We're all in the one community. Of course, there's plenty more happening in the greyhound world at present. We've made a few mentions to the Oaks. A great start to that competition at Shelbourne Park on Saturday night. I'm sure you were playing catch up, lads. I can't imagine you were able to keep up to date with it on the night.
No, we could hear you all right, Ian. We could hear you in the background all over Cork Park.
I'll turn it down next time, lads. I'll turn it down next time.
Yeah. We tried.
Yeah, some wonderful performances in that as well. I haven't seen too much, but now, to be honest with you, Tommy might have a bit more on it. No, between that and we're keeping a close eye on the likes of Wolf and smurfs machine. And,
I told you, Tommy, it wouldn't give me a long time before we got back to it. Yeah.
I didn't say it.
Go on, say the word, Barry. Say the word.
Airjet Sydney, another one there, Ian. So yeah, 1, 2, 3 for
they started in Youghal, did they? Oh, we hadn't noticed.
One down Youghal, yeah. So brilliant. So delighted with that.
From an Irish point of view, obviously a dream situation in Nottingham. 4 finalists. Of course, the dog that's been installed favoured, whether rightly or not, is Southwood Jet in Trap 1. Of course, he started his career in Ireland. Brilliant run the other night from him, but by all accounts, there's not really a badly drawn dog in the race, and this could be a thrilling final in England.
Yeah, I think he probably is the right favourite slightly. He's like, I mean, I thought, I think I said it here, I don't know if I said it on live on this, but I thought that Wolf was a million to win an English Derby, to be honest about it. You know, he's been a fantastic dog for the Maloneys for years. And I thought, you know, he won an Easter Cup, which is a huge success for any greyhound in their career. I thought he just couldn't do it. I thought it'd be a bit too much, a bit too far at this stage of his career. But maybe I overestimated maybe the quality of the English greyhounds. I wouldn't know the depth of them very well. But I have been impressed with Southwood Jet. And what impressed me most maybe in the semi-final is the way he coped with Trap 1. And we talked about this, I think, Ian, I've heard you speaking about it elsewhere. You know, the difficulty with Trap 1, it can be an awkward box to break from. I was quite impressed with Southwood Jet the other night. I think he is the right favourite because he has Trap 1 now. Dear Jet Sydney is close to him, and you know there could be a bit of a bump. I don't think there will be, to be honest. I hope it'll be a cleanly run race. But you're probably right. I don't think there is one that they're looking going, I wish I was somewhere else in the draw. It just looks as if it's worked out well. Dogs on the outside have decent draw. The 𝗁𝗏🄇 Machine and the 𝗁𝗏🄇 Chick. She's out in 6, and she. Yeah, like the Wolf was in the middle where he wants to be. He's not going to be diving left. He's shown great track craft. I'd like Wolf to win it because I know the Maloney family well, and you know they're I think they're nearly due a Derby, which is a hard thing to say, but they've had so many good dogs, you know, knocking about. They've had Derby finalists in Ireland, and you know they've been knocking about at that sort of level for quite some time. They're going to get there. And maybe it'll be next Saturday night. I'm not certain. As you said, it's wide open. If I had to back one right now, I think Southwood Jet is probably the right favourite, but it could go anyway. It's a bit like the Laurels final, to be quite honest about it. It could go anyway. We'll have to find some angle to break it down a bit.
Barry, I'm sure it's going to be hard for you to pick between your three home representatives, although Smurfs Machine now in English trained. So I'd imagine it's going to be 𝘃𝗫𝗍, Sydney or Wolf you're going for.
Yeah, 6 finalists, obviously, and they all started their racing career in Ireland, I should say. Nearly said
he's trying to claim them all now, Tommy.
He's adopting them.
I just showed there, like, you know, the greyhound that we're producing here on Irish shores over the last number of years is remarkable, really. I'll be hoping 𝘃𝗍 can get one of his flying starts. If that's the case, he'll be moving in on top of Southwood Jet early doors, but he will need to break better than he has been over his last 2 outings, and Wolf could just get the run of the race. For the Maloney family, as Tommy has pointed out, they've had Sonic in 2 Derby finals. The amount of success they've had over the last 5 years is just unbelievable, really. It's
all homebred.
Yeah, all homebred, and they're producing fast greyhounds every year. We see them every year. They have dogs doing a low 29-second runs in Youghal, and you know, look, wishing all the Irish greyhounds the very best of luck on Saturday night. I'm sure it's going to be a very special occasion for all concerned, and whatever will win it, we'll wish them well.
Yeah, just hope that all 6 come off safe and well. Mullingar on Saturday night, I'm not sure if you got to catch up with it, but given how close he went in the Irish Derby and how he would have felt between the last 2 bends in the Irish Derby decider, it was great to see Michael Corr winning with Meena Miracle. She's a very, very pacey lady, and as so many top dogs have done over the years, she saved her best for the night of the final. She broke the clock, and a very deserving winner.
Not for the first time, a dog who's strong over 550 has shown early pace over a longer trip. You know, maybe it's the even longer run to the bend or whatever. Sometimes it just suits them, but I was deeply impressed with this run. I thought, you know, if you watch the semi-finals, they were nearly drawn identically as they were in the final, or very close to it. The three of them, the other Meena dog and the Amazing Alice, they were one on the inside, one middle, one outside. You thought, how is she going to get around them? How is she going to do it this week that she didn't do it last week? But by God, like a bit like the Derby final, she produced her best on the big night. She absolutely flew out. Amazing Alice misses slightly. They had a little bit of crisscross with the top dog and showed pace up, but there was never going to be any other winner on Meena Miracle. It was a fantastic run. Track record as well. You know, very seldom we see track records in finals, but that's what kind of makes it a special performance. And I think, did Michael have first, third, and fifth maybe or something? I think.
Yeah, he had the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5.
Yeah. Great performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, tremendous performance. Great to see it. Great result. Barry, you were impressed too.
I sure was, and delighted for him as well. I spoke with him a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, and such a very nice man. Small kennel of greyhounds. We get a kick out of winning our local race, maybe around Youghal, or if we had one good enough to go to 𝘁𝗻 Park and win, we get some kick out of it. But they must be getting some thrill out of it, finishing second in a derby and then going on to win the Cesarewitch with 3 in the final. Dream stuff. So yeah, big well done, and wishing him continued success going forward.
Yeah, he's like you say, a small kennel of dogs, but he's a fast kennel of dogs. You know, there's not too many slow ones coming out of it.
No, that's exactly it, you know, and you know, it seems like he's going to drive on from here now. You know, from when I was speaking to him the last time, it looks like he's putting a lot more time into it, and you know, watch out.
Yeah, well, when you're getting the results, you can justify it. Looking ahead now, lads, we're now on the eve of the Friends of Limerick Greyhound Stadium Irish St. Leger kicks off at the weekend, and next week we'll be talking Leger rather than talking Laurels. Just to let you know that the draw will be made live on the Limerick Greyhound Stadium Facebook page tomorrow afternoon. So keep an eye out for that. There will be links in various places, be it on Facebook or in Talking Dogs, or I'm sure on Twitter as well. So one to keep an eye out on. And anything you're looking forward to seeing in Limerick, I'm not sure if we haven't really seen the entries. You can only imagine that a lot of the strong running dogs around the Derby will be down there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Haven't seen it obviously yet. Looking forward to that draw tomorrow. Always a great event. I'm sure Graham Holland will have a couple of lively contenders for outright glory. Close eye and maybe Black Parachute as well. I think he's a very fast ground. Obviously, he was knocked out over in Nottingham early, and I think he might have been freshened up, and he could be one to watch going forward.
Of course, Blast Off Fire, second in the Laurels. Philip Buckley did win it a couple of years back with Blast Off Jet. Looks the type of dog that actually might be suited to Limerick Blast Off Fire. Just wouldn't be surprised if he went well in that competition too.
He could track around a 𝗶𝗏𝗶 track, that dog. There's no problem with him. He's going to be thereabouts. He's shown he has the ability. His quarter-final run in the Laurels and his behind Ballymacantán and his run in the final, beating the Shorthead both times. They're good enough to compete in the Leger. Barry said we haven't seen the list of entries so far, but generally what you see is a high class. The Leger's high class every year. You see some of the dogs that ran the Derby. It's the same trip. It'll be the first round is always very, very informative because you see what copes with the track and what kind of takes to it. So we'll have a good few weeks talking about that.
Yeah, whatever happens, the strong possibility is that Skywalker Logan will be there, and it could well be his swan song. I spoke to Brendan O'Neill last week, who is Ray Patterson's representative over here, does a lot of his buying for Ray, and he suggested that this could be his swan song. A dog that has always liked Limerick, they're always comfortable with him at Limerick. So yeah, let's hope that Skywalker Logan goes well. As Barry alluded to earlier on, he's been an unbelievable servant, an unbelievable greyhound.
Yeah, he's been a fabulous dog, and he showed again the other night that he's holding his form very well. So yeah, it's going to be a good competition. As I said, Skywalker Logan has been a fabulous dog for Pat again, and for the Ray Patterson. Just one of the many good dogs they've had over the years. So we look forward to seeing him again next week.
Barry, you're looking forward to seeing him too?
Yeah, definitely. Been a remarkable greyhound, as I said earlier, over the last couple of years, and it would be great if he could feature highly, I suppose, in the competition. The Leger, always a great event. We've got some very passionate greyhound people all over the country, so I'm sure the Limerick Raiders will be looking forward to that, and the supporters of Limerick greyhound racing, which really they stood up and were counted over the last couple of years. So I'm sure they're very much looking forward to it, and I certainly am as well.
I think they'd take another final like the one in the Laurels. Just one thing I wanted to mention, the Laurels and Leger are largely in the same place they would have been in the calendar, of course. So we're going to have to wait a full year to see the next Laurels, but the likes of the Oaks, which is ongoing, and I see the Open 600s at the end of the year. These are the competitions we won't only have to wait 5 or 6 months for these next year, but yeah, it's going to be a long year waiting for another Laurels. We have to leave the final word with Runninta Seeya. Hopefully he goes on to big things in the future. He's already a classic winner, and what a classic winner he has been. But could you see him back at Cork next year?
Oh, definitely. If he never achieves anything more, he's done something special this year. In the year that's been in it, we've talked about it. Bart on timely passing. I mean, it's been a desperate year really with COVID-19, but as well to add to all the complexity of what's been going on. He's produced. He's given us a feel-good final that maybe we didn't expect or something, and actually in fairness, the Laurels have kind of done that over the last number of years. It's given us the kind of final and the results that we kind of wanted, that just kind of give you a little bit of a pick up when things are looking a bit tough in the sport, tough in life in general at the moment. I can see Runninta Seeya back next year. But to be honest about it, I don't think any of the connections we even think of what he might do next or what he might do next year. This was special. This is where Johnny Linehan is a tremendous character as well as a great trainer. He's a great character, and he was getting emotional the other night. It meant an awful lot. Great to see Johnny win it. We've had Kieran Lynch win it the last couple of years. Really good trainers. I mean, top trainers. You've seen them around the country. They have seen them spread their wings over the last few years. They're definitely good enough to compete at any level in the country. So it meant a lot to Johnny. It's kind of almost like a bit. I know he's won an Oaks. It's like a breakthrough. Success are very important to put on his CV. So Johnny will get plenty more success. Runninta Seeya, I have no idea. But what he produced now will be remembered forever.
Yeah, Barry, again, as a Corkman, a special one for you. Can he achieve what the likes of 𝗁𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗶 has done? In fairness, the Laurels is one of those classics that has been won a number of times by dual winners. So can Runninta Seeya back it up next year, Barry? No pressure now.
You never know, Ian. I think he definitely will be campaigned around that next year. I can see Johnny now trying to mine that ground and bring him back for another tilt at the Laurels. So look, we'll have to wait and see, but hopefully now that we will see him back in action in Curraheen Park, because they're the likes of dogs we want to see running in Curraheen Park on a Saturday night. So I'm just hoping that there will be races for that greyhound going forward, because we love watching our top class greyhounds competing at our local track. So it'll be interesting to see, and just to the connections, the owners and the likes of Johnny Linehan enjoy this one. It was a special occasion, and over the moon for him.
Yeah, I've no doubt they will certainly enjoy it. Lads, we only have to wait roughly another 11 months for the start of the 2021 Laurels. Until then, we have plenty of top-class racing to look forward to, including the Ledger, which starts at the weekend. And of course, we'll be back next Monday when this time we'll be talking Ledger. That's it for another Monday. We'll see you then.